Okay, so have ever heard about the guy who got so angry he threw his phone into the sea, only to realize he wasn't on speaker and the call was still going on? Now, that's what we call a drop call. We all have our moments of anger. Sometimes it's a simmering annoyance, like when you can't find the end of the sellotape. Other times, it's a full-blown rage, like when you're on the receiving end of a spoiler for the latest season of your favorite show. But whether it's a slow burn or an explosive reaction, uncontrolled anger can lead to some pretty irrational and often regrettable actions. Just ask the guy who's now fishing his phone out of the sea. But what if I told you there are ways to manage your anger? Ways that are easy and effective. And no, it doesn't involve throwing anything into any body of water. So before you throw your phone into the ocean, let's dive into these scientifically proven anger management techniques. First things first, you're not the Incredible Hulk, so there's no need to turn all green and scary when you're angry. Let's understand anger a bit more. Picture anger as a pot of water on the stove. The heat beneath it is the trigger. Traffic, a rude comment, a stubbed toe, and the steam is your anger. The hotter it gets, the more steam is produced until it's whistling and rattling the lid, demanding your attention. Anger, in this sense, is a natural human reaction to a stimulus, just as the water naturally reacts to the heat. It's a part of our survival instincts, a response to perceived threats, but just like cooking, it's all about control. If the heat is too high, your pot boils over, creating a mess. But if you manage the heat, you can harness the energy to cook something delicious. So how do you manage this heat? How do you prevent your anger from boiling over? This brings us to our first technique: recognizing and acknowledging your anger. This step is all about self-awareness. It's about identifying the signs that your pot is starting to boil. Maybe your heart rate increases or your palms get sweaty. Perhaps you start to raise your voice or clench your fists. These are all signs that your body is preparing to react to a perceived threat. Once you can recognize these signs, the next step is to acknowledge them. This means accepting that you're angry without judgment or shame. It's like noticing that the water is starting to boil and adjusting the heat instead of letting it spill over. Understanding your anger in this way can help you manage it effectively. It gives you the power to control your reactions and prevent your anger from negatively affecting your life. So, the next time you feel your pot starting to boil, remember, you're not the Incredible Hulk. You don't have to let your anger control you. Remember, it's completely okay to feel angry, just like our friend the Hulk, but unlike him, you have the power to control your anger. Remember when your grandma told you to count to 10 when you're angry? Well, she was onto something. Let's meet the second anger management technique, taking deep breaths and counting to 10. It may sound too simple to be effective, but here's the science behind it. When you're angry, your body goes into a state of high alert, preparing for a fight or flight response. Adrenaline floods your system, your heart rate increases, and your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. This physiological response was useful for our ancestors when they were facing life-threatening situations, but it's not so helpful when you're just trying to navigate a difficult conversation or handle a frustrating situation. So how does breathing come into play? Deep, slow breathing can help to counteract this fight or flight response. It signals to your body that the danger has passed and it's safe to relax. It helps to lower your heart rate, reduce your blood pressure, and slow the production of stress hormones. Essentially, it helps to reset your body's physiological response, bringing you back to a state of calm. Now, what about counting to 10? Well, this is a form of mindfulness. It helps to ground you in the present moment rather than getting caught up in the whirlwind of your angry thoughts. It gives your brain something else to focus on, which can help to interrupt the cycle of anger and bring you back to a more rational state of mind. In practice, it's simple. The next time you feel your anger rising, pause. Take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it for a second, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. As you do this, count slowly to 10 in your head. Repeat this as many times as needed until you feel your anger subsiding. Who knew that something as simple as breathing and counting could be so powerful, right? Now you might be thinking, positive thinking? Really? Yes, really. And here's why. Positive thinking is not just a feel-good catchphrase, it's a powerful tool that can help you manage your anger. When we're angry, our thoughts tend to be negative and destructive. But what if we could flip the script? What if, instead of dwelling on these negative thoughts, we focused on the positive? Imagine this. You're stuck in traffic, and you feel your anger starting to rise. Instead of honing in on the frustration, you shift your thoughts to something positive. Maybe it's that vacation you're planning or the delicious dinner you'll be having tonight. This simple shift in perspective can help to reduce feelings of anger and leave you feeling calm and in control. So the next time you're feeling angry, try thinking about puppies or ice cream, or some cute memories with your family. It might just do the trick. So before you start turning green and smashing things, remember these 3 easy steps to control your anger. Firstly, recognizing your anger. It's okay to be angry, it's a natural response. The key is not to suppress it, but to acknowledge it. Recognize it as a guest that's overstayed its welcome and show it the door. Secondly, breathe and count to 10. This simple technique has been used for centuries, and there's a good reason for it. When you're boiling over, take a deep breath and count slowly to 10. It's like hitting the pause button on your rage. Finally, the power of positive thinking. Instead of focusing on what's making you angry, redirect your thoughts to something positive. This shift in mindset can help you regain control and respond to situations in a more constructive manner. You have the power to control your anger, not the other way around. So, take a deep breath, count to 10, and remember, you're stronger than the Hulk because you can control your anger. Remember that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned.